How did Plug start? Was that Cartier God? I just started hearing Plug when Cardi was doing it, 2015.
His influence is still downplayed like crazy. Originating with the soul group of producers,
Dro.
it's birthed in multiple sounds.
I'm with Dro. Got that hat going for the low.
There's so much history and drama surrounding it that just isn't talked about. So in this video, I'm going to be doing my best to explain the origins, the pioneers, and how Plug has changed music.
And Corey lingo as well.
I did already make this video. However, as time has gone on, I feel like I could have added way more and just improved the video.
Nigga just remaking his videos.
Here we are. I'll keep the
Fairs.
if you want to watch it, but this video will cover pretty much the same stuff and more. So
I was jugging, finessing, and flexing till I ran into the Plug.
The roots of Plug can be found in Atlanta, Georgia. The
ATL
would dominate the early 2010s, working with the hottest artists at the time, such as Gucci Mane, Future, and the Migos. In Zay's production, you could hear some of the earliest elements of Plug, like snares, and hi-hats. But at that point in time, most people just considered that style of production standard trap. It wasn't until years later that a group of producers would evolve Zay's sound into something new. Stupid Cool was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. His family, which consisted of his mom and two little sisters, grew up in a rough part of the city.
Okay, so here's my question though. What's the difference between Plug and trap? Is he gonna answer that?
The house. So he was
I think I heard about it, but I don't remember
hip-hop. In high school, he played the drums.
What differentiates it.
By a friend, he made his first beat and sold it for $25. After this, he realized he could turn music production into an actual career. From there, music became his full-time job. But Cool wasn't the only producer making Zaytoven-inspired instrumentals, and eventually, he would come across other producers who had a similar sound. In 2013, Stupid Cool would found the Plugs group alongside fellow producers Drop a Lot Music and Plug 2. Soon, they would producers Mexico Dro. The group would later be renamed to B-Plugs.
Ooh, that boy Corey Lingo.
Plug tag created by Plug 2 in almost every track they produced. Naturally, people begins to call the B-Plug style of production Plug music. The B-Plugs were a huge part of the early SoundCloud era, working with everyone from Kodak Black to Lil Yachty.
So it's just like that's what. So they just started that shit like, and they had like their style, and then they was called Beat Plug. So now people just called it Plug. Okay.
Diego caught the attention of Dro, and the two began heavily working together, even releasing a tape.
Diego Money,
on August
Plug,
2015.
Legend, man. So many niggas don't even know, bro. It's crazy.
Tape, Stupid Ice Volume 1. But out of anyone, it was undeniably the B-Plug's work with Playboy Cardi.
I'm acting like I was there. I wasn't tapped in either, bro. I heard that Diego Money take a
on the map. Cardi would release his
that's the only Diego Money song I know.
On December 2nd, 2014. The track was produced by Mexico Dro, and the two would go on to make dozens of classic tracks together, such as Chill Freestyle, Money Counter, and of course,
Money Counter.
Boy.
My little IQ talking all these boys. Yeah, bro, what? All these boys in the line, I could see it, bro. What?
So it's safe to say
I ain't even kick it with you, bro. What?
And on the outside, everything seemed great, but behind the scenes, trouble was
stealing beats.
You see, there was one small problem. Cardi never actually paid Dro for any of the songs he produced, which back then was pretty common for Cardi. So while Cardi was blowing up off those songs like crazy, Dro didn't see a penny of any of the streams, and eventually
did him dirt.
Cut off Cardi, pretty much ending an era. But as a result of his Cardi placements, Dro would begin to gain attention himself, and he would eventually end up becoming one of the biggest producers of the wave. Mexico Dro was born in Georgia, and he grew up in a town called Ellenwood. Like Stupid Cool, he grew up in a rough area, but he would learn how to use FL at a very young age. Although
I didn't know no school, but it's new to me. Hopping on this one with my jewelry.
So it sounded good. Eventually, Dro became pretty experienced at producing, and he would receive encouragement from his friends and family to take it seriously. But unfortunately, at that point in time,
he got every song in the book.
At 17, he was arrested. After being released, Dro decided to take everyone's advice and give music a shot. He would begin uploading beats to YouTube, where they would rack up thousands of views, and he also started producing tracks for local rappers in the area. Eventually, he was recruited by Plugs, and this is where his career would really start to take off. Dro's first major placement was Plug by Rich the Kid, released November 17, 2015.
Till I ran into the Plug.
Breakout hit for Rich, but not so much for Dro, at least not at first. Apparently, Rich had taken notes from Cardi, who ironically was featured on Plug, and he didn't pay Dro for the beat.
Damn, that nigga's just doing this boy dirty, bro.
Credit Joe for producing the song. This always
Didn't even get credit for the guy.
Beefing with both Rich and Cardi, where in the end,
holy
Joe
shit,
did end up receiving the credit he deserved, but only after he basically threatened them.
Nah, fuck that shit. These niggas is a bitch. I'm saying I need to straight up. That shit on God too, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I ain't got shit to lie about. These niggas some bitches, dog. Yes, Playboy Cardi is a fucking broke boy. That nigga know he a fucking broke boy with his bitch ass. He can't buy no fucking beats. Everybody know that shit. Zan already know that shit. I'm riding with Zan right now. That bitch ass nigga can't
damn,
buy no
he was talking about himself.
fucking beats, nigga. That's our favorite rapper.
And the mall not buying beats because he's a broke boy.
Fuck that nigga, bro. Nah, for real. Tell that nigga he don't want no fucking smoke me.
Damn.
That's why I made that little bitch ass nigga move out of Atlanta. And
that shit was probably not even that expensive, was it? Actually, it probably cost a little. But now, like a beat be like $40.
Cause when I catch y'all fuck ass nigga, boy, it's over with. Cardi, if I catch you, nigga, I'm beating your ass. It's over with. I'm taking your chain. I'm taking all your fucking money, nigga.
Ooh.
Rich kid, you ain't gonna come back to Atlanta cause you a little bitch. But when I see your ass somewhere else, I'm taking your shit. You already know the fuck going on now, for real, nigga. This shit for real, bro. This ain't no goddamn. This ain't no goddamn.
Oh, he about that.
Man, fuck them nigga, man.
A year later, Joe would add another hit to his list with the release of Gassed Up by Nebuchadnezzar on August 29, 2016. The song blew up thanks to various memes and vines.
Gassed up, shawty, said you are 40, pull up to the party. Like, damn, bro. He really had that high top. He was really rocking shit.
So what happened is that Dro, being mad that Rich stole his beat, basically decided to take matters into his own hands. But instead, he accidentally ended up with 2 hits on the same beat. So in a way, he did end up getting revenge because Gassed Up obviously did way better than Plug. But still, I know Dro was hella confused when Gassed Up started going viral out of nowhere. Now,
same beat.
Plug music was everywhere. It seemed like everybody and their mama was on a Plug beat. Corey Lingo would work extensively with the late Fredo Santana in 2017, and the duo
Corey Lingo
together. Plugged In, and Fredo Krueger too. We also can't forget about Chinatown and his work with Thousand Man Fani, the most popular track being What's the Worst, which I'm sure everybody agrees is part of the SoundCloud
that was Corey
Hall of Fame. Diego Money will
holy
strong, releasing legendary tracks.
Yeah, I would first on the third.
Stupid Cool and Mexico Dro. But unfortunately, this era would eventually come to an end. Mexico Dro, who at this point was pretty much the face of the wave, ended up being arrested in late 2017.
Damn, bro.
Slowly, but
they could just be getting arrested, bro.
Sound that everybody wanted to be a part of. Even Cardi had already abandoned the Plug sound, opting to rap on Pierre Bourne production instead. It was all of these events that would lead to people starting to believe that Plug was dead. I like to call the era after the first Plug wave the sleeper years of Plug, because while on the surface it seemed to be dying, there were new faces and groups still making Plug that were popping up every day. One of the biggest collectives to continue the legacy of the OG
we gotta bring it back, bro.
Was Surreal Gang. Surreal Gang is easily one of the most influential producer groups, not just in the Plug scene, but in the entirety of SoundCloud and the underground.
That's Slime Cito.
By NYC-based producer Rob Surreal, who began his career in 2015. He started out uploading beats to SoundCloud and YouTube, which were a mix of everything from generic trap to Zaytoven. He would also release music of his own, even rapping on his own beats. As time went on, Rob would start to be heavily influenced by the beat plugs, and by early 2017, he switched over to primarily making Plug instrumentals. He would get a handful of early placements, even producing an early Shoreline Mafia song. But his big break would arrive on May 1st, 2017, with the release of Better Shit by TK. TK found the beat on YouTube
with that light and the stick and the scope.
The song would go on to become a hit with over
80
million streams
on bro.
And Spotify.
Dude, this nigga TK a demon. And even he was asking for permission, bro.
Another legendary
what the hell?
Who would play a huge role
Yo, Cardi.
Was Eddie Gianni. Gianni was born and raised on the south side of Atlanta in College Park. A friend of his inspired him to start producing.
I could see up, boy. I can't even get with the bro. Why?
Taking it seriously after
kick it with the bro. Why?
For a friend of his, Flex Malik, and through him, he would be introduced to Slime Cito.
I could see up, bro. Why? No, I can't even kick it with the
different artists in the Atlanta underground. Gianni started out making regular Plug, but he would
oh my god, Evil Gianni. Oh my bro, this top 3 right here, top 3 pause. I'm not gonna lie.
The most popular member
my boy Evil Gianni.
Most influential is Zange. Much like his brother Rob, he would start out making Zaytoven influenced beats, eventually transitioning to a more classic.
Damn bro, insane cut. I'm not gonna lie. Insane cut. The fit not that bad. But this cut is insane, bro.
Influenced beats, eventually transitioning to a more
Jeez, bro, this was the move back in the day. Hey, I had like a high top too. I'm not gonna lie.
But more than anything,
but damn, why did anybody think that was a good idea?
The most popular subgenre of plug and B. Now I don't want to get too into plug and B because I'm actually planning on making an entire video about it similar to this one.
Plug and B.
Summers and Corey Lingo and furthering the plug and B sound. He's some of the greatest producers of all time in my opinion, and I would put him on the same level as the beat plugs in terms of impact. But of course, you can't really talk about the next wave of plugs without mentioning the man himself. Cash, who was raised in Atlanta.
I really like to use Cash. Oh my gosh.
Much like everyone else, he was a fan of the beat plugs and would take heavy inspiration from them in the beginning. Eventually, his efforts paid off and he would get his first major placement with famous Dex on Dex's song Stop It. He would begin working heavily with underground artists like Lil Zelly, Baby Goyard, and Texaco. But it was his songs with Slime Dollars that gave him some of his first attention. And from there, he would become a major name in the underground. I'm sure if you're an active SoundCloud user, you definitely heard his.
I really like to
use Cash. Like, bro, we locked. We locked, bro. Okay, this is good to see, bro. It's good to see. So it's gonna come in waves, bro. So what y'all think, man? When's the next plug and B plug wave gonna be? Come 27, we bringing it back?
Also SGP,
who gonna bring it back?
Just to name
is that bit dead?
All of these artists
I don't think so.
Plug alive in the underground scene throughout late 2018 to 2020 to the mainstream, the sign was pretty dead until it received the ultimate cosign from the most unlikely source. In 2020, Drake would release his mixtape Dark Lane demo tapes, and I'm sure everybody was surprised
what the hell?
The 12 track on the project From Florida with Love, and they heard the
okay, this is the last nigga that I like a cosign from, bro.
It turns out
I'm not gonna cap.
Recorded in late 2017, which makes sense since we know how Drake likes to hop on trends. But it was still a surprise that he ended up officially releasing it. But technically, this wasn't Drake's first time hopping on a plug type instrumental. I'm Upset, released in 2018 on Drake's Scorpion album, is pretty much a plug beat in everything from the classic snares to the drum patterns. It was also produced by working on Dying's Oogie Mane, who's another legendary song.
I'm working on Dying.
I guess Drake really is more tapped into.
Oogie Mane, he killed it.
Later in 2021, plug would be essentially.
Oh my goodness.
Revived in full.
Oh my goodness, Cash Dummy.
Just like Cash Dummy would go viral on TikTok with this song's Reparations.
Drop it with this, just when y'all rappers cap man
Amir, both of which use a more traditional plug style. His debut album Epiphany was nearly all plug, and the project made pretty good numbers. Other artists like Jades, Z, and many more that.
Damn, bro.
Right now,
okay, so yeah, bro, like what? We had like what 2015, 2017, second wave. Then 2021, I think we due for something pretty soon.
Their plug interpretation.
Someone's gonna bring that shit back.
Going up as well,
it's always gonna be a thing. I feel like
during this time. In addition to all the newcomers, rappers like Boofpack Mookie and Tony Snow would also have plug.
Oh my goodness, Boofpack!
With all of these songs blowing up, plug was slowly becoming
I'm settling. Oh my gosh!
We have to give credit where credit is due. They were a huge part of why plug gained relevance again.
Sheesh.
In the present day, although not as big as it once was, Plug is definitely still alive and well. Dro himself started releasing music pretty consistently, and it's really good in my opinion. Stupid Cool and Polo Boy Shawty just released some solid tapes if you want to check those out.
Gotta pee.
Plug and B sound
that boy
artists like
Corey Lingo.
There's also prods like Perk 40 and Bullymon, two of my favorite producers at the moment, who have their own way. Their beats include crazy 808s and melodies, but at the core is, again, the OG Plug sound. All of this, in my opinion, is why Plug will never
it's just die. Beautiful, bro. Like,
that are constantly
Plug is just like fine wine, bro. Like that shit, that's my favorite type of beats, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Rage is cool, everything else is cool, Jerk is cool, but like Plug is like just like we in the clouds, like we just kick back, flying above, like that shit. I'm not gonna lie, beautiful, bro.
Cut all the OG Plug prods a check for everything they've done for that playlist ain't cutting it. Side note, that Plug playlist is actually trash. SoundCloud, if you watching this, please hit
thuggin' with my rounds, yo. That bitch not a Plug song.
Or whoever you got running it,
who the fuck put that in there?
But that about wraps up this video.
Thuggin' with my rounds, yo. Yo, good video. Nija Kosuke. I'm 3 years late to this bit, but like it's rellgotgame, bro. I'm gonna show up whenever the heck I want. This boy don't even post videos no more. GG.